My son called CPS on me for abuse because I grounded him for skipping school, and they took him away, giving him the freedom he thought he wanted. My 16-year-old son Ethan started telling people I was abusive when I was only trying to discipline him. It started small, like when I grounded him for sneaking out and he told his friend's mom I locked him in a room for days. When I took his phone after he failed 3 classes, he told the school counselor I destroyed his things and screamed for hours. I got called in, answered questions, and they dropped it when they saw he was exaggerating. I thought it would stop, but it didn't. Every time I tried to parent him, the stories got worse. I caught him skipping school, and when I kept him home that weekend, he told his girlfriend's parents I beat him with a belt until he bled. I had never touched him. I was strict, yes, but I set rules, curfews, chores, things that used to matter. Ethan learned that if he told the right story to the right person, people would believe him. The more attention he got, the more he pushed it. I used to be the mom who packed lunches and drove him to soccer. Now I was the abusive parent everyone whispered about. Teachers watched me differently at meetings. Neighbors stopped greeting me. Even my sister called to ask if things were okay, and that hurt the most because she helped raise him after his father died. One night, Ethan sat at the table scrolling his phone like nothing was happening while my life fell apart. I asked why he was doing this, and he shrugged, saying maybe if I treated him like an adult, people wouldn't believe it. That was the moment I realized I didn't recognize him anymore. The next morning, 2 CPS agents came to my door. Someone, likely the school, had reported his latest story. They said they had concerns about possible physical abuse. Ethan stood behind them, almost proud. They asked questions, checked the house, looked for signs of neglect. I stayed calm. There were no bruises, no proof. They said they would follow up. 2 days later, they returned with a court order. Ethan told them he was afraid to live with me, so they placed him in temporary custody. I watched them pack his bag while he looked like he had finally won. I didn't fight, I just stood there as they drove away. The silence after was heavy. His room stayed exactly as he left it. Messy, half-empty cans on the desk, posters crooked. For the first time in years, the house was quiet, too quiet. Weeks passed. CPS called for updates, but I wasn't allowed to see him. They said he was adjusting well in foster care, that he was safe and cooperative. That word safe stayed with me. I kept attending meetings and inspections. They never found a single mark or any proof. Slowly, his story started falling apart. He said I locked him in a closet, but the officer saw it was just a storage space full of decorations. He said I starved him, but his doctor records showed he was gaining weight. The truth came out piece by piece. I think Ethan started to panic when he realized the same people who believed him were now controlling his life. The freedom he wanted turned into stricter rules than he ever had with me. Curfews, counseling, no late night calls. When that reality hit, he started asking to come home. I got a call one afternoon asking if I would agree to a supervised meeting. I said yes immediately. They brought him in the next day. He looked different, not outside, but in his eyes. He barely looked at me and said hi quietly. We sat in silence until he said he didn't think it would go this far. I asked what he expected after accusing me of abuse. He said he thought he would stay with a family that let him do whatever he wanted, but it was worse because they didn't care, only rules. I wanted to be angry, but I felt tired. I told him that was parenting. Rules and responsibility. He nodded, holding back tears. He said he only wanted me to listen. I told him I was listening. He just didn't like what I said. He had no answer. 2 weeks later, the court reviewed everything and every claim was proven false. They offered to send him home right away, but I asked for 1 more month so he could understand what he had done. When he finally came back, he was quiet. The first night he sat at the table staring at his food and said I never hit him, and he knew that now. I didn't respond. He finished eating and washed the dishes without being told. That was his apology. We never spoke about it again, but every time he leaves the house now, he stops at the door, looks back, and says, "See you later, Mom."